Hello and welcome. Here's another video about SMMware, software for handling sales, project management, operations, and more. Today we'll discuss clients and jobs in SMMware. Okay, let's begin. Starting here in the home page, we'll jump over to the Clients section. This is a listing of your clients, and it has a gray bar at the top, which is a filter, followed by the listing of actual client records. And I'd like to point out the status filter here, and it can let you see lists of your current clients, past clients, and other variations. You can also export your list of clients to a CSV file so that you can open it in Excel. Now we'll take a look at a particular client record. There are three fundamental record types in SMMware to understand. The first one being the client, which is what we're looking at. It contains information about them as a person, information that does not change from project to project. Next we have a job record, which is information specific to that project. And the third type is the sales lead record, which is the information you collect while it was still just an opportunity before you've won the work. The client records kind of acts as the hub of the wheel, because here you can see all the different jobs that have been created for this client and jump over to them as a shortcut. You can also see any sales leads that have been created for this client. And of course you can create a new job or a new sales lead from here. Moving down the page, I'd like to point out the Referrer section. This is where you record information about who sent the business your way. Starting with the top level category, this could be your corporate website, it could be Google Ads, or it could be an in-person seminar. And then from there we drill down to the company and the person. And by collecting that granularity of information, our Referrer report can tell you a lot about where your business is coming from. Next we have the Act as Reference field. So if you think that this client would make a great reference, you can mark them as such. Next, if your business involves client representatives, they can be set here. If this is someone you've worked with before, maybe an attorney, they would appear in this list. Or you can add a new one from here. You can also indicate the relationship of the client representative to the client, maybe attorney or adult child. Moving down the page, we have our client custom fields. This again is information that does not change from project to project. This could be the time that they want you to call after or before. In each case, you can assign your own labels using the settings editor. What you see here is simply examples. Moving down the page is where you can enter an address. If you start typing out the address title, SMMware will give you a list of addresses to pick from and then fill in the individual fields for you. Here at the client level, we can also store files. The restricted file manager is where you can put something that you don't want everyone in the company to see, just admins. And then the regular file manager is something that regular associates could see. We also have sections for the tasks that have been assigned to this client, or notes you've written about them, or calls that you've logged about them. We also have an address history, and the clients close by section is helpful for sales. Now we'll go ahead and jump over to a job record. While the main menu represents the official structure within SMMware, we provide you with a lot of shortcuts to help you get around more quickly. For instance, now that we're on the job record, we can jump back to the client record here, or to the sales lead for this job here. Under the job record, we have the job type. This is a list that you can customize in the settings editor. We have our job status. We can assign a team lead. SMMware will tell you how many hours there are in the system towards this job and how many hours the estimate thought it would be. SMMware has two different ways of how you charge your client. If you're going to charge the same rate for literally every hour, then that would be per job rate. But if you want to charge different rates for different kinds of services, then you use something called job codes. A job code is simply a label and a default rate. We also have the associate pay model, so you can pay your employees based on rates that you assign directly in their associate profiles, or you can have rates that are tied to job codes. Next we have the assigned associates. You can assign a team to this job, and that affects the communications they'll receive. You can also assign organizations, which are basically vendors. That way you know exactly who you're planning to work with for this project. Below that we have the job custom fields. This is information that you would expect it to change from one project to the next. And again, we have some examples for the labels, but you can assign whatever you like using the settings editor. For instance, a gate code if you're needing to get past an entry gate. We have something called the status board. This one is for jobs. And you can assign a label or tag. You can define these tags, and again in the settings editor. And then this text is something that you can have predefined. It tells you at this stage of the game what sort of information you want to collect about this project. And then if your projects involve moving people, then you'll have an opportunity to enter the new address here at the bottom. Now go ahead and take a look at the listing for the jobs. Again, we have a filter at the top, followed by a listing down below with the ability to export this to a CSV file. Now we're going to have some information that only admins are going to care about. Here in the Associate Manager, we have a permission that provides access to the clients and jobs profiles. Now going to the Settings Editor, we'll start in Section 5. We can set some defaults for the client fee model that we want to use, whether it's the per job rate or per job codes. We can lock things in from here, or we can allow people to select as they want as they create jobs. We have similar settings for how you want to pay your associates and whether that can be chosen for each job. We can turn off the ability to assign associates as a team to a job. Have some defaults for when you go to a listing for the clients or the job. In the associate profile, you can determine whether somebody has access to the clients and jobs. Here's where you can provide some additional restrictions so they can see maybe all jobs or only active jobs or various variations. Here's where we define the job types that we looked at in the job profile. Section 6 is where we define the job codes. So this is your different services and the different rates that you want to charge by default for them. We divide them up into sets, and then we assign associates to one or more sets of job codes. This is intended to prevent a new worker from using a job code that was intended for the company owner, things like that. For individual job codes, we can put in a title, the rate that we're going to charge the client by default, which of those sets we want it to assign to. We can turn it off so that it's no longer active, and then we can talk about pay levels. Section 11 is where you define the client custom fields, and you can turn off some of the rows if you're not using them. Section 12 is the same thing, except for it's for job custom fields, and these are also shared by the sales leads. We can turn off individual rows, and we can assign our labels. In Section 14 is where you define those tags that we talked about for the status board, as well as the ability to turn off the status board if you're not going to use it. And you can also affect whether team leads can access it. And then you can define the tags themselves. And that concludes our introduction to client and job profiles in SMMware. To find out more, you can go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SMMware, or you can visit our corporate website at www.smmmware.com. We appreciate your time and hope to talk to you soon. Thank you.